Alright, this is our first lesson here, properties of exponents for Algebra 2. Our goal for today, students will review and apply properties of exponents. So, here are the steps, which are written down on the whiteboard too. So, we're going to be looking at properties of exponents. We saw properties of exponents, you've learned them in pre-algebra, and you also learned them in algebra. So, and then we're going to kind of do some more advanced exponential properties now in Algebra 2, which we're going to deal with fractional exponents, okay, so, and how to rationalize that. So we kind of need to know that basic knowledge again. So these are all of the, is it going? These are all the exponent properties as a review. So a to the 0 power is what, everyone? A to the first power. A to the negative n power is just like saying 1 over a to the n. It's just like, this used to be pretend this was a fraction. We can make anything a fraction of putting it over 1. So we don't like negative exponents, so we usually take the exponent and its base, move it to the denominator, okay? A to the first is just itself, okay? Continuing on here, we have a to the m times a to the n is equal to a to the n plus n. So when the bases are the same, you're multiplying, you add the bases, or add the exponents together. When we have bases that are same and you're dividing, this is a division sign, we subtract the exponents. When we have a term, a times b being multiplied, and it's all being raised to the n, you multiply a to the n times b to the n. Or the same is true if you have a term that's being divided, a divided by b, all in its own parenthesis, all of that raised to the n. You have to distribute the n to each of these, so it's a to the n divided by b to the n. And then last but not least, we have a to the m raised again to the nth power. You multiply the properties, or powers. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so please write this down for me. This is just some background knowledge. So again, a to the 0 is 1, a to the negative n is 1 over a to the n. A to the first is just a. Okay. I'm going to write some things down again on here. So again, this distributing the power. We're going to do numbers 1 and 2. Just watch or now, so pencils down, okay? Pencils down. Numbers 1 and 2, okay? Number 1, the first thing I would do, I would just read the directions always. It says simplify, so that means I need to know if there's anything else I could do with this expression, okay? Looks like I can. We have a base of 2 being raised to the third power inside its own parentheses, right? And then we have parentheses, again, being raised to the second power. So we know that when we have a power raised to a power, we take the base, leave it the same. It's going to be 2 to the third, and then we multiply the exponents. 2 times 3, 2 to the third times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, and that's it. Since the exponent's 5 or more, I'm not going to multiply it out. Now I could, because it's small. 2 to the 6 is like saying 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is a, times 2 again is 16, times 2 is 32, and then times 2 is 64. So we know this answer is also 64. But 2 to the 6th is also a valid answer, okay? So, again, watching, what did I just do? Okay, the first thing I did was I read the direction that it said simplify. Okay, and then I wanted to determine which properties can be applied from the inside. Looking at the original problem, I used the power property. A base raised to a power raised by another power, we multiply the powers. So then I worked from the inside, applied the properties from the inside to the outside. 2 to the third times 2, so we got 2 to the 6th power and the answer 64. Okay, so that one's the easy one. Watch me do number 2 now. Okay, number 2, we have negative k to the 4th power raised to the 3rd power, all divided by negative k to the 3rd times k to the 2nd. Okay, so I'm going to work in sections. Looking at my numerator, we have negative k to the 4th times, or raised to the 3rd power. So we want to distribute the negative 3 to the negative sign and also to the 4. Because this negative sign is like saying negative 1 here, right? So if I were to do that, we have negative 1 to the 3rd times k to the 4th raised to the 3rd again, so I'm going to multiply them. Denominator now, we have negative k. We have a negative sign times a positive, so it's going to be a negative k times 3 plus 2, because we have the same base here. We're going to add the exponents together. We have 3 plus 2. Continuing on. Simplifying the numerator, we have negative 1 to the third. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1 times negative 1 again is negative 1. K to the 4th times 3 is k to the 12th in my numerator. Denominator, we have negative k raised to the 3 plus 2 is negative k to the 5th. Okay, still not done here. This negative k is, it's like saying negative 1k in my denominator, so negative 1 divided by negative 1 is going to be positive. These two cancel out. Then we have k to the 12th divided by k to the 5th, so it's going to be k to the 12th. 12 minus 5 is 7, so it's going to be k to the 7th power, or positive k to the 7th. But we could just leave it like this. We could assume it's positive. And that's it. Okay? That's number 2. That one's a little bit longer. Okay? So you're going to have to be able to work out simple ones and more complex ones. Okay? So I put this one on here so you can see. All right, before you start writing now, I want you to turn your neighbor. So in my class we have 1s and 2s. So if you're on this side of your partners, you're a 1. So you're all 1. If you're on this side of your partners, you're a 2. So you're all 2s here. 1s, 2s. 1s, 2s, 1s, and 2s. Okay, and I have you paired up because I'll say, for this example, I want 1s to tell your partners 2s. 1s are talking about 2s about number 1. You're just going to explain what I did. And then after they're done, 2s will talk about number 2 to their partners about number 2. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, I want you all to talk. Okay, everyone's talking. No writing yet. Go. Okay, continuing on number 3. Number 3. So I want you to work with your neighbor. I want you to explain what would you do on this one, and then I want you to show your neighbor on your whiteboard. So you're working it out. Ready? Go. And then when you're done, compare your answers. Make sure you got the right answer. The correct answer here, remember we had the same base, so we keep the base, so it's going to be negative 4 in its own parentheses. So it's going to be 3 plus 3, which is going to be negative 4 in its own parentheses to the 6th power. Are the parentheses important? They are, yes, because what happens if I distribute this negative sign? What's negative times negative times negative times negative times negative times negative? Positive. So this would be positive 4 to the 6th power at the end. So if you put negative 4 to the 6th power, is this the same answer? No, negative. That would be wrong. This is incorrect. Okay? So, sorry, it's lagging a little bit because of the internet. Okay, let's try to do number 4 now. Okay? 4, go. Okay. There's two terms here. Okay, we got negative 4xy times xy. What's the coefficient in front of the second term? 1. Okay, I'm asking that because it's very important. So you work with your neighbor. Ready? Go. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Okay, if you made a mistake, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. X times x is x squared. Y times y is y squared. That's your answer. Okay. So you forgot to put a 2 on one of the exponents, okay? All right, keep going. Here you go, number 5. Okay, so before you move on, let's look at the big picture here. We have a numerator and the denominator. What is this line in the middle? What operation is this line in the middle? Division, right? So think about that. Ready? Go. Okay, so on number 5, I'm going to erase this little 5 here because I want some more space. Whenever you have a negative sign, here's a hint too. Here's a special hint. When you have a negative sign in front of a fraction, always apply the negative sign to the number on the numerator, the coefficient there. So I would say this is not really a negative sign in front. Here it could be negative 3. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is figure out the coefficients. We have negative 3 over, and then this is a 1 here. So negative 3 is still in my numerator. Then we have a to the negative second. We have a divide divided by a to the negative second. So I have to subtract my exponents. This would be a to the negative second minus negative second.
Can you simplify these or just cross them out?
You could. I'll show you the other way too. Okay. And then we have b to the negative fourth over b to the negative third. So it's going to be times b to the negative fourth minus negative third. Okay, so what's negative 2 minus negative 2? 0. So those cancels out. What's negative 2 minus negative 2? 0. So we still have negative 3. And then what's negative 4 minus a negative 3? Negative 1. Okay, I can still simplify b to the negative first power. We don't like negative power, so we would move that to the denominator. So your answer is going to be negative 3 over b to the first power, or just negative 3 over b. Okay. Someone asked, can I just cancel them out? Yeah, if you have negative 2 up here, you could take out negative 2 from the bottom, and then you don't have any more a's. Just like you have, let's say you have negative 3 here, well, you could take out negative 3 here, leaving just negative 1 in my numerator. That's another way to do it. Okay, but I'll just show you the first way so I don't confuse you. Okay, this is a good one in your notes. Can you write this one down in your notes, please? 5 here. Last one. Okay. So this one you're doing by yourselves. Where does this negative sign go at the beginning? The numerator, right? So let's just fix that right away. Let's not put negative sign in the front. Let's put out the negative a, okay? Because we don't like negative exponents in math. Your answer wouldn't be simplified. Okay? So yeah, that's a good question. Why don't we just leave it? Well, it's just like you're leaving it undone. It's a last detail that has to be finished. Because negative 3 is a coefficient. I'm saying negative exponents. We don't like negative exponents, to be more specific. Does that make sense? Okay, go. Okay, so on this one, I would work on my denominator first. So the numerator I'm just going to bring down, so I don't forget about it. So it's negative a to the third power, okay, over. I'm going to work on this section first, this power property, because I know if I have to distribute the 4 to the 2 and also to the a to the 4th. So this is going to be 2 to the 4th times a to the 4th raised to the 4th is a to the 16th, right? That's just in its own parentheses. And I'm going to bring the rest down so I don't forget about it. Okay, and I know that in front of the a to the 4th there is a 1, right? So 1 times, or we're just going to leave that alone, 1 times whatever it's going to be. Continuing in our parentheses, 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16. So it's going to be 16 a to the 16th power. And then we have 1a to the 4th. Bring that down still. Oh, I forgot to bring the rest of it down. Silly goose. Let me fix that. There we go. Boom. Okay, so we got negative a to the 3rd. So now I'm going to keep moving down. 1 times 16 is 16, so that's in my denominator. a to the 4th times a to the 16th is a to the 20th. Okay, and then we have negative a to the 3rd in the numerator. Okay, let's use that second method I was talking about, or Julian brought up. So a to the 3rd, let's take away 3. A to the 3rd is on the denominator, and then take out 3 from the denominator also, which is 17. Okay, so now all we're left with is negative sign, which is like negative 1 over 16, a to the 17th. Or another answer, you just put the negative sign in the front. It's going to be negative 1 over 16a to the 17th. That's it. So if you got that, congratulations. That's the hardest problem, okay? All right, so what we do now, I'm going to stop here.